look at your hands. In this digital age, they are clean. They glide over glass, they type code, they hold a latte. But have you ever felt a weight in them that isn't there? A heaviness that comes not from what you've done, but from what has been done for you. We live in a curated peace, a fragile glass dome built on the architecture of invisible sacrifices. We celebrate the hero, a term we've hollowed out until it's just a badge, a social media tag, a convenient shield to hide our own discomfort with the violence that sustains our comfort. But what happens when the applause stops? What happens when the man we call a savior looks in the mirror and sees only a debtor? Today, we peel back the gold leaf of the hero myth to find the cold, rusted iron beneath. We are going to talk about the cost of your peace. And why the most dangerous thing about a just war isn't the losing, it's the winning. Elias returned on a Tuesday. The station was a cacophony of brass bands and weeping mothers. They draped a medal around his neck, a heavy, cold piece of bronze that felt like a millstone. They called him the Lion of the Valley. They told him his actions saved a village, secured a border, preserved a way of life. But Elias wasn't at the station. He was still in the gray mud of the valley, 3 weeks prior. He remembers the silence before the breach. The air tasted of ozone and wet stone. In the basement of a nondescript house, he had met a boy. Not an enemy, just a boy holding a rifle too heavy for his thin shoulders. In that fraction of a second, the calculus of justice was stripped bare. Elias pulled the trigger because he was told the cause demanded it. Now, back in his quiet apartment, the ticking of the wall clock sounds like the rhythmic thud of boots. The smell of his wife's lavender soap is an insult to the memory of cordite. He sits in the dark, watching the city lights flicker like distant muzzle flashes. His wife touches his shoulder, and he flinches. Not from fear, but from the realization that her hand is soft because his is scarred. She is innocent because he is not. He is the hero because he did the things that would make her soul wither. He is the guardian of a peace he can no longer inhabit. The lion is not a king, he is a ghost. He realizes that the cheers of the crowd are just a way for them to outsource their guilt. They applaud so they don't have to ask, "What did you have to become so that I could remain myself?" To understand Elias's silence, we must look to the 13th century, to the towering intellect of Thomas Aquinas. He formulated the just war theory. Aquinas argued that for a war to be just, it required three things: sovereign authority, just cause, and right intention. It sounds clean. It sounds logical. But here is the existential friction: Aquinas was writing for the soul of the ruler, not the psychology of the soldier. Let's contrast this with nihilism. To a nihilist, the just cause is a linguistic fiction, a narrative we weave over the chaotic, meaningless slaughter of biology. There is no right or wrong, only the is. To the nihilist, Elias's guilt is a vestigial organ, an evolutionary glitch. But Elias is neither a saint nor a machine. He is trapped in the middle. He believes the war was necessary, yet he feels the absolute erasure of the individual. This is what we call moral injury. It is not PTSD, it is not a fear response. It is a soul sickness. It is the realization that to protect the good, one must occasionally discard their own goodness. In the eyes of the state, Elias is a success. In the eyes of the universe, he is a man who broke the most sacred equilibrium. Peace isn't the absence of war, it is the debt incurred by it. Elias is the one holding the invoice. We may not be soldiers in a trench, but we are all beneficiaries of the silence. We live in a world of trade-offs. The cheap clothes we wear, the cobalt in our phones, these are our just wars. If we accept the just war theory, then our gratitude toward the hero must transform. Instead of blind praise, we must offer shared burden. If we accept that the cost of my comfort is someone else's peace of mind, then our trivial anxieties about social status or digital clout become absurd. How can we lose sleep over a missed promotion when we are the recipients of a peace bought with the literal sleep and souls of others? To honor the hero is not to clap, it is to live a life worthy of the sacrifice. Next time you see a hero, don't thank them for their service. That's too easy. It's a transaction. Instead, look at the world they preserved for you and ask, am I using this peace for something meaningful, or am I just wasting what someone else paid for in blood? Elias still sits in that dark room. He doesn't want your medals. He wants to know that the silence he brought home was worth the noise he had to make. Are you living a life that justifies the silence?